sent it 3 hours ago. You've reread it 11 times. You've already rewritten the apology in your head. Twice, for something the other person probably didn't even notice. This is the part of your brain that never really clocks out. The part that takes a 5-second conversation and turns it into a 2-hour internal courtroom case, where you're always on trial and you always lose. If that feels familiar, this video is for you. Here's what most people don't know. Overthinking isn't a thinking problem. It's a threat detection problem. Deep inside your brain sits a small almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. Its only job is to scan your environment for danger and fire the alarm when it finds something. For most of human history, that danger was physical. A predator, a rival, a falling rock. But your brain didn't update its software when social life got complicated. To your amygdala, social rejection and physical danger feel almost identical. Losing your standing in a group, being misunderstood, being judged, being left out, that registers as a threat to survival, so it fires the alarm. And once that alarm goes off, your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for calm, rational thought, gets partially bypassed. What's left is a mind on high alert, replaying every detail of the conversation, searching for the exact moment things went wrong. Not because you're anxious by nature, because your brain is doing its job. Here's the part most psychology videos skip. Overthinking doesn't appear from nowhere. It's learned. For a lot of people, it started somewhere early, in an environment where the emotional temperature around you was unpredictable. Maybe your parents' moods shifted without warning. Maybe getting something wrong had real consequences. Maybe love felt conditional on your behavior. So you became a reader of rooms. You learned to scan for microsignals, a tone of voice, a pause, a look, before deciding how to act. That was survival intelligence. As a child, reading the room kept you safe. The problem is, that radar never got the memo that you grew up. It's still scanning every conversation for signs that something is wrong. The skill that protected you then is exhausting you now. This is where most people get it wrong. Overthinking isn't weakness, it's armor. When you replay a conversation over and over, you're not being irrational. You're trying to feel in control of something that felt uncertain. The mind would rather reach a painful conclusion than sit in the open space of not knowing. So it keeps searching, keeps theorizing, keeps spinning, not because it wants to torture you, but because it's trying to close the loop. Overthinking is your brain's way of saying, I need certainty before I can relax. The problem isn't the need. The problem is looking for certainty in a place that doesn't have it, other people's minds. I'm not going to give you a 10-step system. You'll forget it before tomorrow. I'm going to give you one shift, and it's uncomfortable, so bear with me. The next time you catch yourself replaying a conversation, ask this question instead. What am I afraid would happen if I stopped thinking about this? Most overthinkers discover the same answer. If I stop replaying it, I lose control of the outcome. And that feeling, that losing control of the outcome is dangerous, is the actual thing worth examining. Not the conversation. Not whether you said the right thing. The belief that your thinking can control what someone else feels. You can't think your way into someone else's good opinion of you, but you can, slowly, with practice, get more comfortable with not knowing. Not because uncertainty stops being uncomfortable, but because you stop treating it like an emergency. You're not broken for doing this. You're not weak. You're not too sensitive. You built a very sophisticated system for staying safe. It just needs a different signal now. And it starts with recognizing that the alarm going off doesn't mean the building is on fire. Sometimes, it just means your brain remembers what it felt like when it was.